When we imagine dinosaurs, we often picture dense jungles or vast deserts. But the truth is far more fascinating. Dinosaurs didn't just live in one type of environment. They lived almost everywhere on Earth. Dinosaurs first appeared around 230 million years ago during the late Triassic period. At that time, Earth's continents were joined together in a single supercontinent called Pangaea. This massive landmass meant dinosaurs could spread across huge areas without ocean barriers blocking their movement. Over millions of years, as Pangaea slowly broke apart into separate continents, dinosaurs adapted to a wide variety of environments, from lush forests to dry deserts and even polar regions. One of the most common habitats for dinosaurs was floodplains and river valleys. These regions were rich in vegetation, water sources, and nutrients, making them ideal for large herbivores. Fossil discoveries show that species like Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and Tyrannosaurus rex lived in areas filled with rivers, swamps, and forests. These landscapes would have looked somewhat similar to modern subtropical regions, with seasonal rainfall and dense plant life. River systems were especially important because they provided drinking water and supported abundant plant growth, forming the base of the food chain. Dinosaurs also thrived in forested environments. During the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, much of the planet was warmer than today, and forests covered large portions of the continents. However, these were not forests of flowering trees like we see today. Instead, they were dominated by conifers, cycads, ferns, and ginkgo trees. Large sauropods, such as Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus, likely roamed through these forests, feeding on tall vegetation. Smaller predators and early mammals lived beneath the canopy, hidden among thick undergrowth. These ecosystems were complex and supported an incredible diversity of life. Surprisingly, dinosaurs also lived in desert environments. Fossilized footprints and skeletons have been found in what were once arid regions with sand dunes and limited water. Evidence from places like the Gobi Desert in modern-day Mongolia shows that dinosaurs such as Velociraptor adapted to dry, harsh conditions. These deserts were not necessarily identical to modern deserts. Some may have had seasonal rainfall or nearby oases. Dinosaurs living in these regions likely had behavioral adaptations, such as traveling long distances for water or being active during cooler parts of the day. Perhaps even more surprising is that dinosaurs lived near the polar regions. Fossils discovered in Antarctica and parts of Australia indicate that certain species survived in areas that experienced long periods of darkness during winter months. Although the global climate during the Mesozoic era was generally warmer than today, polar regions still experienced seasonal light changes. Dinosaurs that lived there may have adapted with insulating feathers, migration patterns, or metabolic traits that allowed them to endure colder temperatures. These discoveries challenge the old idea that dinosaurs were only tropical animals. Coastal environments were another major habitat. Many dinosaurs lived near shorelines, lagoons, and deltas. These areas offered abundant food sources and diverse ecosystems. In North America, for example, much of the interior was once covered by a shallow sea known as the Western Interior Seaway. Dinosaurs lived along its shores, sharing ecosystems with marine reptiles swimming offshore. The combination of land and sea created rich biodiversity, supporting both terrestrial and aquatic life forms. It's important to understand that dinosaurs were strictly land animals. Unlike marine reptiles such as mosasaurs or plesiosaurs, dinosaurs did not live in the oceans. However, some species adapted to semi-aquatic lifestyles. Spinosaurus, for example, shows evidence of adaptations for swimming and fishing in river systems. Fossils suggest it spent much of its time in water-rich environments, hunting fish in large river networks. Even so, it remained fundamentally a land-dwelling dinosaur. Climate played a major role in where dinosaurs lived. The Mesozoic era was generally warmer, with higher carbon dioxide levels and little to no polar ice caps. Sea levels were often higher, creating shallow inland seas and humid coastal plains. These conditions allowed vegetation to flourish, supporting large herbivores and the predators that hunted them. However, climate still varied. Some regions were humid and tropical, while others were dry and seasonal. As continents drifted apart over millions of years, dinosaur populations became isolated. This led to regional differences in species. For example, the dinosaurs of North America were not always the same as those in Asia or South America. Continental separation drove evolution, resulting in unique species adapted to their specific environments. The fossil record continues to expand our understanding of where dinosaurs lived. Each new discovery reveals that they were far more adaptable than once believed. They survived volcanic activity, shifting continents, climate changes, and environmental extremes for over 160 million years. Their ability to thrive in forests, deserts, floodplains, coastal regions, and even polar landscapes demonstrates extraordinary ecological flexibility. So where did dinosaurs actually live? The better question might be, where didn't they live? From equatorial jungles to windswept polar forests, dinosaurs occupied nearly every type of terrestrial environment available during their time. Their world was dynamic, diverse, and constantly changing, and they evolved alongside it. Dinosaurs weren't confined to one landscape or climate. They were global survivors, masters of adaptation. And understanding where they lived helps us better understand how they ruled the Earth for millions of years. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other videos on my channel.